Whenever a Pocket leak drops, people immediately split into two groups, the excited ones and the angry ones. And honestly, looking at the comments this time, I understand why so many people are frustrated. The biggest debate right now is about the sensor, and instead of pretending everything is fine, let's talk about it realistically. So here's the situation. The latest leaks claim that Pocket 4 might use a slightly smaller sensor than the Pocket 3, similar to what DJI just used in the Action 6. And because of that, a lot of viewers are saying things like, this is a downgrade, I'll stick to Pocket 3, or DJI is cutting corners. And to be fair, I get it. When people hear smaller sensor, the first thought is always worse image quality. That reaction makes sense. You're paying for a camera, not a magic trick. But here's the part that gets lost in the argument. Sensor size alone doesn't decide the whole story anymore. What actually matters is how DJI tunes the camera around it. The processing, the dynamic range, the thermal behavior, and especially how this sensor performs on a gimbal instead of a block-style camera like an Action model. The leaked sensor size is only slightly smaller than the Pocket 3 one, but the real question is, how will it behave with things like motion, low light, and stabilization? Because if you've used Pocket cameras before, you know one thing. They're all about the real-world feel, not just the spec sheet. Now, another rumor that keeps coming up is variable aperture, and this is where things get a little messy. Variable aperture inside a tiny gimbal camera is extremely difficult. The module has almost no room for moving parts. You've got motors, cooling, processing, the touchscreen, batteries, everything squeezed into that slim wand-shaped body. So trying to fit a rotating aperture system inside that little camera head is basically engineering gymnastics. Can DJI do it? Maybe. But I wouldn't be shocked if the final model keeps things simple because of space and heat management. And that brings me to the 6K conversation floating around. People keep saying, if the Action 6 didn't get 6K, how will Pocket 4 get it? Well, that's exactly the point. Shooting higher than 4K sounds great, but heat is always the deal breaker in small cameras. Pocket devices don't have the airflow that Action cameras do. They don't have the cooling systems of bigger cameras. So even if the sensor technically supports 6K, that doesn't mean the camera can sustain it without shutting down every 5 minutes. Then there's frame rate rumors like 4K at 120 or even higher in special modes. Yes, it sounds amazing, but again, thermals are the enemy. The more you push high frame rates, the hotter the sensor gets and the tighter the thermal envelope becomes. Pocket cameras already walk a thin line when you shoot outdoors in hot weather, so I'm keeping expectations realistic here. Now let's talk about the timing, because that's another thing everyone is whispering about. The leaked launch window is very interesting. People say DJI wants to drop this before the US FCC ban deadline, and honestly, I believe that could be true. Because if DJI misses that date, importing new products into the US becomes messy. So it does make sense that they may want Pocket 4 out before the legal window closes. That alone explains why leaks are suddenly accelerating. But the biggest thing I want to address is the sense of disappointment people have. If you skip the Action 6 drama, the community hated the idea of a smaller sensor at first, but when real footage came out, half of that panic disappeared. Because tuning matters, processing matters, color science matters, stability matters. DJI has a habit of surprising people when the final product actually ships. I'm not saying trust DJI blindly, I'm saying we need to see the real footage before throwing the whole thing away. Pocket cameras live or die based on real-world results. If this thing handles motion better, if skin tones improve, if dynamic range gets cleaner, if low light is more stable, then even a slightly smaller sensor won't matter. And here's my honest prediction. If DJI truly wants Pocket 4 to compete in 2026, the improvements won't be just about specs, they'll be about workflow. Better face tracking, better low light stabilization, better heat control, better autofocus. That's what Pocket users actually need. So yeah, that's where we are right now. The leaks are interesting. Some rumors make sense, some are questionable, and the community definitely isn't happy about the sensor talk. But until we see the real device, the whole story isn't complete, and when it drops, I'll be testing it like always. I will see you in the next one. Peace.